Hello everyone, my name is Augustin. I'm a principal engineer from Amadeus. I'm also part of the Prometheus team. And I will be with Antoine, who is a senior developer also from Amadeus. And together we are going to present a new tool called Perses. And I hope you will enjoy this new product. But before going deeper in the details, I just want to give you some details about where does it come from, the genesis of Perses. So actually, it's coming from a simple statement. If you are looking to the cloud-native computing foundation tools, like Prometheus and Kubernetes, you will see that, okay, you have the metric formats, you have Prometheus, you have OpenTelemetry, you have OpenMetrics, you have Thanos and Cortex to scale Prometheus, but there is nothing for the visualization. So that's where Perses is coming from. We want to fill this gap, and we want to go to the CNCF, and that's where we created the project. We created the project under the license Apache v2, and today it belongs to the Linux Foundation, and one day it will go to the CNCF. The project is supported by Amadeus, Chronosphere, and Red Hat, and maybe later with more and more companies, let's say. So let's go for a quick overview. First thing you should know, Perses is a dashboard tooling specialized in the metric visualization for the moment. So if you are going to try it today, you can only connect Perses to Prometheus or Thanos or any vendor supporting the Prometheus API, and nothing more for the moment. When we started to think about Perses, what we want to do with this project, what we want to achieve exactly, first thing that came on the paper was we want something really GitOps friendly, because, for example, in Amadeus, we have like 3,000 dashboards using Grafana, and it's quite hard to maintain all these dashboards and to be sure they are following the upgrade of Grafana. They are still good, they are still loading when you are on call at 3 a.m. We are hoping everything is fine. So we wanted something much more GitOps friendly and let's say dashboard as code oriented. So to be able to achieve that, we have three different let's say topics. First things we want to have is a static validation, which come with Perses with CLI and Qlang schema. And with both of them, we are able to validate a dashboard JSON using any kind of CI/CD you would like. We want also to be native to Kubernetes, which means to be able to install the dashboard with CRDs and to have the data source discovery, and then we will think about other features to be Kubernetes native. For this part, it's ongoing. So if you are going to try Perses, it's not yet available, but it's going to be. And also, when you are going really on the dashboard as code mode, okay, you are taking care about the JSON, you are using probably JSONnet and so on, but sometimes you just want to try actually your local dashboard before pushing it on the CI/CD on your Git repository. And that's why also we want to be able, to run locally the Perses binary, so you can edit directly on your laptop using the Perses binary your dashboard, your JSON dashboard. The next thing we wanted to have, and it's coming from a simple statement that if you are looking to Prometheus, if you are looking to Thanos, if you are looking to now to Perses, to PromLens, they are all sharing something we want to have is to display metrics with a line chart. And if you are looking to all these different repository projects, they are all using a different way to display a line chart. And as a Prometheus member today, it's quite annoying to move to a project to another and say, okay, it's a different way, so I have to change the way. It's harder to maintain because you have different library to display the metrics. So we wanted to say when we started the project, we say, okay, why not we are going to provide the different library to display the metrics, and maybe one day Prometheus, Prometheus, Thanos, Cortex, they will be able to use the libraries to display their metrics, and we will have something consistent across the different UI, and we will have something unique, let's say. So the first one that was able to embed Perses was Chronosphere, of course, because they contribute a lot to the project on this direction. And after that, Red Hat considered this possibility, and they are actually ongoing. It's ongoing, sorry. They are going to integrate Perses in the OpenShift console. So they are not running the binary, they are really importing their package, the package Perses -dev dashboards and the panel plugins, to modify the OpenShift console and to display their dashboard. And maybe one day, when the project will be, let's say, in a stable mode, in something else than incubation mode in CNCF, we could think about integrated in Prometheus, in Promlens, Thanos, in Cortex, whenever we want. But for the moment, it's just an idea for Prometheus. I said at the beginning that Perses is a dashboard tooling specialized in metrics display. That's just the beginning, because we also want to display the metrics, the traces, sorry, and the logs. And so we have everything. We have everything in the single place. You are able to display any kind of data from the observability area. And it's ongoing, actually. The traces are handled by Red Hat today. And we hope that before, let's say, Christmas, we will be able to have that. And the logs will come a bit later. And now I think it's time to go deeper on the feature, what we are proposing today in Perses, and that will be Antoine that will do that.
Thank you. Yep, so hello everyone. Yeah, so first in terms of feature, for sure, we have charts. So let's say only a few basic types for now, like time series, gauge, and single stat. We have also bar chart and markdown panel. So of course, more will come later, but let's say those are the main ones that you can already use quite a lot to display a lot of data. Also, we have what we call multi-scope resources, so datasources and variables. So the idea is that you can define such resource at different level in the application, so either a global, project, or dashboard scope. And the principle is that when you have, let's say, a standard common use case, you will use the, let's say, higher scope to define a resource so that it's shared and available to many dashboards. And for the more specific things, you will use the lower scopes for the things that you don't want to be available externally. And so in case of conflict, once on a dashboard, if you have two resources from different scopes that share the same name, it's the one from the lowest scope that takes precedence. So maybe it will be clearer with an example. So here we have some, let's say, panel graph, so, time series graph, so that is powered by a demo data source and 3 variables. So you have a cluster, namespace, and pod. Basically, the demo instance, you can see that we defined one specifically for this use case, and the data source is defined in the dashboard. And by doing this, we are hiding another one that was defined in the project, which itself is hiding another one defined in the global scope. Then coming to the variables, so for the cluster ones, we want the full list of clusters, so we are fine using the global variable that was defined. For the namespace, we want, let's say, a restricted list of namespace corresponding to our application. So we are using a project variable here. And finally, for the pod, we have a specific use case here, so we define it in the dashboard so that it's not visible outside of it. We also have a feature of migrating, let's say translating a Grafana dashboard into Perses. So this was especially needed in our case at Amadeus. As Augustin said, we have thousands of dashboards, and we didn't want to start again from zero. So this migration is powered by Kulong schemas also, like for the plugin data model. And finally, as Augustin mentioned, so we have a CLI that for sure you can use directly to interact with the Perses API, but as you may guess, it's also meant to be used in CI/CD pipelines and this kind of thing for example, mass validation of dashboards or mass imports. Okay, so now demo time. Oop. No. First here. So here, this is a simple homepage of Perses, so nothing really exciting here, but let's say we have a display of, for example, the recent dashboards or the dashboards that were flagged as important by the admin, so let's say shortcuts. So just to show you about this migration feature, so I will start with this. So we have this migrate screen here, so it's not very sexy, but actually it's something we plan to revamp fully in the near future. So I will just upload the, nope, not this. So the not exporter dashboard that I downloaded, there. That I previously downloaded from the Grafana marketplace. So there is it. We have just to provide a value for this template parameter here. So this is for the data source. I will just put the data source name I want to use. I click on migrate. Yeah, and here I have my Perses dashboard in JSON. So I just left to decide which project to import it. So yeah, Perses, import. No. Thank you, dictionary, but I don't want you. Yeah, and here, so we have our dashboard available and working. So yeah, just to give you, let's say, a quick overview of what's possible here on this screen. So yeah, so looking at the edit mode. So yeah, to illustrate what I was explaining before with the scopes and the resources. So for example, this panel here, it has queries that rely on the Prometheus demo instance here. And you can see that this one comes from the project. And we have another one with the same name that comes from the global scope, but it's overridden, so you cannot select it. It's still visible for, let's say, user awareness, but you cannot select it. What else? We have the variables menu, for instance. So here you can see the variables that are defined in this dashboard. You can also see the variables inherited from the external scope. So here we have a job variable coming from the global scope that is overridden by local one. So again, you can still see it, but you cannot use it. And also, we have the display of the built-in variables. So you know that as in Grafana, so we have, let's say, built-in variables provided by Perses. And here it's, you have the full list. So just for, let's say, user awareness, so which syntax to use to invoke them and what's their purpose. Then, you have a bit of time, so just to show you quickly, so for the, let's say, project resources, so it is the project UI, so here you have the list of dashboards for this project, but you have also the list of variables and data sources defined, and we have the same kind of UI in the admin section for the global resources. That's pretty much it. And Yeah, and unfortunately, so I won't be able to show it to you because of the technical issue, but yeah, we had an example of the embedded use case in OpenShift UI, but yeah, so I won't be able to show you this. But basically, you're able to see graphs, and you also have the drop-downs for variable selection and time range and the refresh interval integrated in OpenShift. Yeah, I think that's it.
Cool, thank you. So actually, it's not finished. I just wanted to share to you the
dots on the top right.
Top right. Ah, yeah. No.
Normal click.
There? No.
No, the one, but do a normal click on the 3 dots. You did a right click.
So what?
Yeah. Yes.
Ah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I just wanted to share as the last thing the roadmap of Perses, what we are going just after the PromCon. So we have three major features, let's say. The first thing will be authentication and authorization. If you are going to try today Perses with the sandbox or just locally, you will find quite quickly that you can delete the dashboard from your colleague without any restriction, which is not super great. But so, yeah, we are going to take care about that by supporting Azure, Google Cloud, AWS for the authentication, and the authorization will come at the same time. Like I mentioned at the beginning, we want also to support traces and log visualization. It's already ongoing, and it's handled by Red Hat. And also, we want to tackle with more resources how we can package the plugin, because today, if you want to develop a plugin, you will need to build entirely Perses to see your plugin appears in Perses. So it's not super great because that means or we have to support your plugin, or you have to rebuild entirely Perses. So that means we want schema versioning, because we still want to make some evolution about the current plugins. So we want to tackle this part, how you can migrate from a version to another one. And also we want hot logging of the plugin, so you don't have to restart Perses every time you want to change the plugin or add a new one. So that will be the 3 major features, and the minor one, expecting the last one, the documentation. Please don't consider it's a minor one. We expect why just after that. The first one will be observability data explorer. So we want to start with Prometheus and the metrics. And I'm pretty sure we'll take some inspiration from the famous PromLens, because well, from my perspective, it's a great metric explorer. We are going to support the subfolder management, which is already possible with the API, but not in the UI. So we have to fill the gap. We want to support the data source discovery with Kubernetes. Of course, mchart, it's already ongoing, it's available, but well, it still needs to be supported and evolving. We are also going to implement a Perses operator. Today, the repository is empty, but that's because we just created to start the project. We want also to support panel generation. It's actually coming from Parker, I think. This idea about the SLO, because, well, it appears that for SLO, it's always the same kind of panels you want to display with the same metrics. So actually, you can generate it, and it's quite painful to do it manually each time for every metrics you want to support. And finally, documentation, because if you are going to try Perses, maybe you will find it in some way harder to use it, because probably some parts you will find harder to understand what's going on. and that's because there is no documentation, so you have to try it on your own. But it will be also a good feedback from you if you are going to try it, because then we can know exactly where you are struggling and improve this part. So if you are going to, if you want to try it, if you want to know more about this project, it's available on GitHub under the organization Perses. We have a live chat on Matrix if you want to chat with us. And finally, if you want to contribute, we have the documentation that should help you. And that will be the end for me. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have any questions, that's the moment.
No questions. All right, then I have a question. So you talked about a Perses operator.
Yeah.
Have you considered building like a KCP API? Are you familiar with KCP?
Not that much, but...
So, okay.
Sorry.
With operators, you're like bound to the cluster, but with KCP, you can build one API that's like global for all dashboards, let's say,
okay.
So that it's not bound to a cluster. And I always felt that would be a more natural fit.
Okay, that's interesting. No, I didn't know. So yeah, maybe that's something we should consider.
Cool.
Definitely.
Let's chat.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for the presentation. It was really insightful. I wanted to ask, how was the experience with migration from dashboards from Grafana? Because my experience so far is that every major version of Grafana, the schema changes quite a lot. So you are supporting all versions, or there is a specific version that you are focusing on?
So for the moment, we are supporting only the last version of Grafana, but that's because for the moment no one is using Perses. So that was easy to say we are supporting the last one, and that's it. And also because in Amadeus we are always upgrading Grafana to the last version just right after they release it. But I think we need to support different kind of version of Grafana. But if you want, also I can have a different argument. Let's say first migrate to the last version of Grafana, so you will have to migrate all your dashboard to the last version, and then you can migrate to Perses. That's not a nice, nice way to present Perses, but for the moment that can be that. But yeah, we will definitely support our version of Grafana.
Thank you.
There is a question there.
Which data sources does Perses support right now, except of Prometheus data source?
What do you mean about processes?
Data sources. I mean, like Grafana supports
only Prometheus today.
Only
It's
Prometheus?
supporting. Well, if you are using Thanos, it's working. If you are using Cortex, it's working.
Are you going
Any
to
wonder that supports the Prometheus API, it will work. But excepting that, no, nothing else.
Are you going to add other data sources which are not Prometheus compatible?
So for the metrics, you mean?
Yes.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know, because we don't have so much resources and contributors. So for the moment, we are focusing now for the traces and logs. But over metrics data sources, I don't know. If the opportunity came, why not? If not, it's not on the plan.
I see. Thanks.
Thank you. Great work you're doing here. I was wondering, have you considered displaying alerts somehow for maybe like points, alerting, integrating with Alert Manager?
That's quite funny because every time I'm talking on Perses, everyone is asking me, should we support alerts? And but I will say, why not? But yeah, still, it's not on the plan. So, and I think some guys in Amadeus also directly in my team want that. So probably it will happen. Yeah.
One last question, then we need to wrap up.
Yeah, thanks for the presentation. So will there be a way to customize the look and feel of Perses? Will every project that adopts Perses, is every project going to look the same? Or will there be some theming mechanism or some way to customize the way that components look?
That's a really good question, and unfortunately we were not able to show the Red Hat video that display how they are integrating Perses in OpenShift, and that's quite unfortunate because you will see it doesn't look at all the same. So for the moment I don't know how they do it, but it's going to happen and to be documented, I hope. So I can't really answer, honestly. I don't know how they did it, but I hope they will explain soon. Sorry.
All right, thank you for your talk. It was amazing to see the progress you've made since I last seen it. Incredible work. I guess there were more questions, but both of you are going to be around for the rest of PromCon.
Yeah.
So you can always find them and ask the questions. And yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.